comes in divine mystery, it becomes history. Yes, indeed it does, baby. We set ourselves free. No restrictions do we see. Right here in our heart, baby. We open. Take flight. Yeah, let the heart get light. Release the burden because we found the gain in it. Let it all go, baby. Get on with the medicine show. Yeah. You ain't fooling me no more. Won't get fooled again. Ah, baby. We're in love, babies. We're in love. Voices on the Wind, babies, right here on the Coyote Medicine Show with Wyra, here on the Hazy Radio Network. Babies, wasn't that a sweet flight? I felt like the condor over the high cliffs of the Andes, man, looking down on the grandness of creation, making its return to this land once again. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, babies, when that condor is in flight, he gets it just right. He can see what's real and what people have imagined it to be. He sees through everything. He sees through all. The condor's eyes cannot be fooled. What he sees is what does arise. What he sees right before his eyes are the spires of temples and of great majestic realms rising up from the mountains in those higher realms where people can be free, angelic, you see, and rock this humanity back into a new kind of history by unraveling the old mystery that has held back this history and never set us free. Lived in condemnation, don't you see? 30 years to life every time, man. Well, here we go now, babies. We've flung the door open today, and transformation's on its way. Your heart finally does have that new start. And babies, you can let it go, all that's been holding you back. Because there's no reason to have that old heart attack ever again. Just release it. Let it be. Let your love set you free. Yeah, just flow in the way of this divine mystery. Yes, as it unravels inside and proves to you the reality of what is truthfully history. The love in all flowing through it. Babies, every bit of it. Wow. It's quite the day, ain't it? Yeah, you feel that? Oh, babies, it's love. First class. First rate. As good as it gets. Yet it gets better and better, babies. With the other side, we unite. With angels and thunder beings, we take flight. And with the eyes of the condor, we see everything and set it right. Transformation is what you see, 'cause that's what you be. Oh, yeah. Don't you see? Coyote Medicine again on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. From now on, so says good old Natalie Cole, this will be, and so it must be. Therefore, we just set ourselves free. Why not? Huh. So says Natalie, we can be free if she can be, and this shall be, and so there you are. How about that? We're getting off like a rock star this morning, man. Each and every one of us, man, we're taking off into flight right here into the great daylight as the sun arises and spread across the land. And ooh, when you feel it on your heart, you feel it on your skin, man. You know what real blessings are, man. And it's one of those days where you just feel really good, really grateful to be alive and living it. You know what I mean, jelly beans? It's just like this expansive feeling inside of yourself. It's like transformation right before your eyes, right inside of yourself too. Babies, it's happening all over the place. we're letting go what we held on to for so damn long. You know, so much so that we cursed our generations, our children and grandchildren and so forth, on down through the generations to carry this crap forward for us till we could get here at this time and straighten it all out inside of ourselves and finally be done with that ancient old burden we dumped on everybody and everything, especially ourselves each time we stepped into it. Oh man, there was no escaping it. I felt it so greatly in this life, you know, at the early part of it. God, it was like a heavy weight just dumped on me, you know, like 100 tons of burden, you know. And wow, no wonder I grew up a little stoop-shouldered and a little hunkered over, you know. Oh my goodness. I had a pretty gracious attitude considering all that I carried, man, I tell you. But I was conscious of it. That's where I differentiate from a lot of people. A lot of people just go to sleep when this stuff hits them. I couldn't. You know, I tried, believe me. It wasn't anything noble on my part. I would have just as soon ducked out. I just couldn't do it. It wasn't my nature to, you know what I mean? Couldn't go sit in the corner and let the other guys fight it out. No way, man. I had to go play my part. I had to be there or be square. But you know, as I've been sitting here talking about all that experience back there trucking, especially in the beginning, but that was great training, like I told you. That set me up for the rest of it. But, you know, all of my life, even when I'm not trucking, I have lots of moments, you know. And I've been sitting here looking at it while I was playing some music and talking with some friends here in the chat room, babies. By the way, who's one of my friends in there? I wound up knowing her dad from way back over there in Cheyenne, man. Years back, of course, but wow. Brought back all them memories, all those good times over in those places, all the roughness too, man. Oh my God, Wyoming can be so tough. You know, the weather there is just killer. Oh man, but sometimes that works to your benefit. You just have to find the blessing in it and go forward. That's I had a little girlfriend there in Cheyenne for a few years, you know, and that's when she and I became kind of close, was when I got snowed in there one time for 2 or 3 days. Boy, there was like 5,000 other truckers there, so it was a little difficult to get off by yourself, let me tell you. But wow, what a blessing that storm was, you know what I mean? And I've just had some good times being snowed in and so forth, but anyway, getting back to that subject at hand and without all the reminiscing, gosh, I love Cheyenne, man, I really do. I got a lot of Cheyenne stories. I'll tell you some more sometime. You know, it's been one of those places, just been pure magic for me, though. It's like desolate and only the crazy want to live there. But yet, gosh, it's beautiful. And there's beautiful people living there. I love every jack last one of them, man. You know, it can be a little rough because it is Wyoming, and, you know, it's tough there. You got to be strong. You want to live in a place like that. But, oh, my goodness. The benefits and the blessings are tremendous there too. You know what I mean? There's reasons why people stick it out there on the high prairies and the mountains and the lonesome valleys and so forth, because man, you live a life surrounded by just natural love everywhere you look, you know. There's good sides to it, and there's lots of good people and really sweet connections, you know. Wow. And it's as real can get. You know, sometimes it's pretty simple in its application in life. But, oh, it's real. You know, for them people especially. But they're pretty real with you, too. You know, it's one thing I love about that end of the world. You can deal with these people eyeball to eyeball, straight up. You know, and they ain't going to hornswoggle you about nothing. If they do, it's only because the joke's on you. It's not a mean thing, in other words. It's not I'm trying to take advantage of you, you know. They deal with each other. Since they were kids, they deal with each other eyeball to eyeball, man. You know, and they get it done. They get it over with, you know. Get on with life. In places like that, you have to be like that. You ain't got time to fiddle around, you know, in the stair steps of life and all lost in the lonely romantic drama of it all. I mean, yeah, right. We got cows to calve. We got, you know, hay to bale, et cetera, et cetera. We got to get out there and get in motion. We ain't got time for this shit. Keeps life kind of real. It does. Keeps it in a more simple level. Because, you know, when you are, what little time you do get, if when you're not totally worn out, it's better be perfect, huh? Yeah, because that's, you know, they're sweet moments, but they're fleeting, man. You understand what I mean, Jelly Bean? So anyway, I understand I love that end of the world because of that. And I've had some great times and had some great friends there too, man. A lady sold me a hat one day in a Western wear store downtown Cheyenne and became my friend for years. I mean, every time I was in town, I'd look her up and we'd go have a beer or something, you know what I mean? Well, wasn't quite, but anyway, just beautiful, man. Just beautiful, you know? And I don't know, it's that kind of world and dealing with those real kind of people I've always loved, you know? Though it does have its harsher and meaner sides, you just have to learn to avoid stuff that gets you into those places. You learn to be diplomatic a little bit, you know, especially if you're a little skinny guy like me. I always been kind of humble, baby. But, you know, I realized early on I'd rather be humble than a threat. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be a threat. Unless somebody was messing with me, then I would appear as a different kind of threat. I didn't need to be no physical threat. Hell, there was no way I could. Me telling somebody I was going to beat him was like me telling, why don't you come over and clobber me now and get it over with? So I learned to be a little more diplomatic about it. But it's all kind of unraveling now as we let go of this old paradigm which says we're condemned and condoned to hell forever because we made some mistakes in the early on, you know. And we've carried this shit in. Like I said, we passed to the children and grandchildren. This feeling, you inherit it when you arrive here. It's why babies are born so miserable. You know, it's the harsher edges of life that we've dealt with forever. I mean, it's a reality, people. I live inside myself as this reality, as this living truth. I mean, you know, until it evaporates, until it changes. And then it's another truth, and another level, and another way. See, we're letting go of that burden by which we've condemned ourselves forever. And then it's just, it's not real. It's something we imagined into place and placed into time. I mean, you know, sure, it was a test, a time test. Could we get through it? That was the question. Could we as a race, let alone as personal beings, but as a race, could we get through it? Could we carry that burden? Could we marry that burden, walk with it, talk with it, be it, and finally learn to find the blessing in it? We inherited the inheritance of the unblessed to find the blessing in it. That's simply what happened to humanity from the beginnings of time. And because I'm the Ancient of Days in that way, I can understand that energy, in other words, as the oracle that I am in these days. Well, babies, I can turn it loose. I can set us free. And therefore the opportunity's in you as well. And you're setting yourself free too. See, and it came from you in the first place. Your heart says, ding dong, it's time. Let's get on with the program. So now we're undoing what's been done to us for centuries without end. I see in this lifetime of mine why I've drawn. I mean, I sit here and tell story after story. I don't even think about the death moments in them. You know, I just blow right by that in the story. It's just part of the story. Well, gee whiz. Some people's eyeballs are way up on their... How many times have you escaped death? I mean, you know, many, 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 many. I can't even count them. But I see why now. I mean, another level of it. Another reason why I had that energy that drew it to me, you know. Partly it was just to prove to me that I could not be killed. But partly it was just to prove to me, too, that I had some energy in me that was drawing this experience to me. You know, I had that lonely condemnation that a lot of people will feel. Not everybody does. Everybody had it on some level, yes. But I had a particularly amazing dose of it. That's a good word. And, I carried it well considering, you know. But, oh my goodness. To this day, it has persisted. But today, it has resolved. And it is resolving. And it's unwinding finally, you know. From the attitude of my heart and gratitude in my heart for the experience of it, as difficult as it may have been. I release that energy, you know, from myself in that way and transform the day that we started to play this way so that it no longer is this way. And we don't have to deal with it on this level any longer. Truth in motion here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. And babies, it's not always easy to face simple truth. But oh my God, as you can see, the release in it, the feeling of relief, and finally let him go of what you never thought you could let go of seeing through the grandest illusion of all. And if you're not understanding what I'm meaning, close your eyes, go into your heart, take a little sail with Peter Frampton here. Let's see if he can help you get the start. Okay? Babies, we love you. It's a rockin' good life, and these are the times we've waited for a long time, ain't they? Rock. Oh, darlings, it really is a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you got to think about this first thing in the day. Isn't this awful, man? Let's have a cup of coffee first and maybe a little toke here. Get our day started right. You got Grandpa Coyote here coming to you from 9,000 feet high here in the Rocky Mountains, babies. Just a rolling out the love this morning. It's a tidal wave of love indeed. Coming rolling off these big old mountains behind me. Coming rolling off all of these mountains, man, here in the Rocky Mountain High, man. And it's rolling out your way, man. It's a big old tidal wave. You're going to get hit with it here. Well, there it goes right through your neighborhood. Wow, look at that. And your house is still standing. How about that? So are you, but just barely, man. I know your heart felt that, you know. It weakened you down some. It must have, man. I'm sure it did. Weaken that old resolve that says we can't do that because, well, we can't do that. Oh, horse shit. We can do any damn thing we want to, babies. We're blessed beyond compare. When you live in the heart, you're already there. Don't you know, don't you see, don't you care? Yeah, babies, we starting to get there this morning. Old Grandpa, he's on a roll, man. That AC/DC gets my blood to pumping, gets me a rocking and rolling. I walked over to the coffee pot to get a little bit of joy juice, and the next thing I know, well, son of a gun, my old fannies, you know, bouncing around, and my knees are bending and shit like that. My hands are flying around, and I'm a dancing, man. Shit, 5 o'clock in the morning. What's wrong with this man? I tell you, where do I get that shit? And what do I do with it? Well, we take it out on you here on the Coyote Medicine Show, babies, here on the Hazy Radio Network. Just, wow, sending out the love, dancing around, and having a great, great time here with you today, man. Boy, do you feel your heart opening up even as the old man sitting here funning around with you a little bit? Do you feel that glow? Do you feel that flow? Do you feel that life coming back into you? Yeah, see, this is the start of the day you really need. Every day, right here with old Grandpa, man, just hanging out and having a good time and knowing, yeah, hell, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. But babies, we've been rocking for just a little while, and now we really starting to roll, man. I'm telling you, watch out, world, because here we come. The Coyote Gang has come undone, and we've come back together, babies, and oh, we gonna change the weather, and we don't have to put up spray planes to do it. Oh, little coyote medicine here at the beginning of the day, baby. It's good for you. Take your medicine, man. This coyote medicine is sweet, baby, and that's what it'll make out of you. Just a little sweetheart, too. Baby, I am a-shaking it, ain't I? I hope you are, too, baby. Wow. Hey, we finally got those mugs shipped yesterday. I tell you what. Oh, Grandpa lives on hippie time and things, no matter how, I can't push him in the old ways. I just have to let it flow and stay with it. I know whatever time they get there, that's the perfect time. They were meant to be there. And babies, we thank you for it. I love you silly. It's, great to be having them, shipping them all over the world already, babies, you know. Wow, if you're out there in the hinterlands, it costs a few extra bucks for shipping. Oh, my goodness. It's a more than a worthy thing. If you got a little extra coin to spend on it, man, you know, it's just, I mean, it's a way of helping out old Grandpa Coyote here and the Coyote Medicine Show and the Hazy Radio Network, because we are listener supported, and you know, we need bringing a little coin, keep this thing floating, you know. So there we are, babies. You know, it's we help you, you help us. We all in this mutually together and just loving one another like crazy, man. So here's to you. I got my official mug right here in my hot little hand. By the way, that's the #1 impression, man, right there. And Grandpa's got it in his hand. I'm going to have to put a big K on the bottom of it so you know it's me, you know. My cup. Of course, if you want to sip out of it, you're welcome. You betcha, babies. Here we are, mugging one another this morning right here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio. Don't you just love the Hazy Radio Network? They get into some real sketchy subjects out there, especially when they start talking about, you know, mass murders and crime and shit, you know, but oh my goodness. And ghost hunting too, man. People are still getting off on that shit. It's like, wow, don't you guys see past all that crap yet? Well, babies, we certainly do right here on the Coyote Medicine Show, man. You know, if there's ghosts hanging around our place, shit, we just talk to them, man. If they need something, we help them out, man, you know, get them on their way. We don't go around with little meters and cameras and shit and try to take their picture and be all scared and stuff. What's wrong with folks, man? You know, they're living in the past, man, you know. Gotta help them, man. Just be their friend, man. I used to meet a lot of ghost hunters when I stayed out in Oklahoma for a while, man. You know, had a little coffee shop down by the railroad tracks there in Guthrie, Oklahoma. What an awesome place, man. Wow, I tell you, it was the most different experience. Whew, I loved it there. People were grand. And we got musicians there from all over the world. You know, wow, we're just hanging out down there one day, and wow. Another kind of train came through town, let me tell you. So, babies, man, it's just, wow, this week has already been wildly influential in my presence of existence, man. You know, besides all the other stuff we're rocking down with and rocking and rolling and strumming and stoling, it's like, wow. It's been the week of weeks already, and there's only been 2 days into it, man. You know, last Friday there were some shifts, and over the weekend, and then yesterday morning during the show, wow, just things started opening up for this old man in a pretty heavy-duty sort of way, and they still continue right now to this moment. Hey, don't we just love it, man? Oh, Coyote Coffee. That's my next project for a little fundraiser, you know. Get some really righteous gourmet coffee out to you along with these mugs. You know, I could put it right down the middle here, you know, put in a few ounces of coffee as a little extra bonus or something, you know. Get you going the Coyote way every day, man. You know, not only will we have our mystical connection through our little mugs, we'll be like joined in the liquidity of our love and that precious, beautiful, tasty coffee we would get to send to you. And I know a couple of sources where I can get some really good stuff for a pretty reasonable price. I mean, considering that it's organic, fair trade, non-GM. I mean, you know, it's got all this stuff. You know, it's like, this stuff practically brews itself. It's such damn fine coffee, you know. I hope you guys have had some of that too along the way. It's really precious when you do. I'll never forget my first shot of espresso, man. It's back in the 60s, man. You know, I know a lot of you guys don't even know the 60s were real. You think that's just something somebody made up. Well, I lived through it, so I can tell you it actually happened. It's not just made up. Some of it was. Hell yeah, you got to watch your historian. Those suckers lie about everything, man. Shoot. We're just coasting around today, checking out the scenery, you know. Let it go where it wants to go. Let it be what it wants to be. Just relax, you know, and get into our heart and be in the flow, you know. Let go of any tension that these changes in your life might be creating for you. Just give it. Recognize the tension and just give it up right now. You know, just let it flow out of you. There you go. See, you can convert those energies into something far more substantial inside of yourself. See, there you go. Just catch it in the heart, baby. Just catch it in the heart, and you're right back there again. See, wow. It's so easy when you're living in it, and you just do it. You know what I mean? You've got your empowerment, babies. And if you're unfortunate enough not to yet be recognizing what we're talking about here this early in the day, well, babies, take another slug or two on your coffee and come back, and we'll explain it sometime during the show. It's all good medicine, you know. If it comes from a coyote, babies, you know it's right. You know it's light. You know it's love. And yeah, it may be a little kind of tricky business, you know, but it's always fun. It's not, you know, anything you're going to be harmed by whatsoever. It's the most helpful energy there is because you know what? It matches up perfectly with life. There's coyote medicine everywhere in this life, and that, in fact, is what this life is one great big old coyote medicine show, you know. We're just a little small part of it here on the Hazy Radio Network with our tiny little show. We're just barely getting going here, babies, though we've been on here for months on end now. And, oh, you know, man, just wait till we have our 1-year anniversary. We'll do a naked party on the radio here, man. I promise you that, baby. We'll do a naked party right here on our 1-year anniversary date. And I ain't going to tell you when that is. Some of you already know because you were around when we started, but most of you don't. So we'll just let you guess. Though I'll probably publicize it a little bit ahead of time, but in a sly sort of way. I never let you know straight up, because I'm a coyote, man. Well, if I let you know straight up, you better pay attention, because there's reasons why we do that. Because usually we like biting you from the hinder side. It's a lot more fun letting you find out than it is to go find out for you. That's no fun. Unless we're doing it together, then finding out can be pretty spectacular. I like that kind of shit, too. And I'm not just talking about intimacy. I'm talking about just general conversation, connection with people. You know, people you meet along the way. Sometimes some of the most amazing moments I've had and enjoyed in my life have been with complete strangers. It just came out of nowhere and served to further enlighten my life, man. You know, we had a closer connection in those moments of just verbiage than we would have if we'd have ran off and, you know, spent 3 months together, you know, living in a cabin by Lake Superior or something. You know, it would like connections like that were just, wow, off the charts, man. You just couldn't roll with it. Oh, wow. Anyway, it was pretty spectacular, and still is, because that still does happen. You know, as I get out and about, you know, we do it right here on the radio, too, man. We come close as all get out, and here we are, you know, complete strangers to one another. My backside. This is why you can have connections like this, because we ain't strangers. Whether we've ever laid eyes on one another or not, it doesn't really matter, you know, because we're already that close, babies. We're not living in the past. We're living right now, and we're recognizing what's going on, and we're getting close. Hey, babies, if you got any questions this morning for which you need some encouragement or explanation or whatever, shit, I'm here, babies. You know, it ain't just me bullshitting you through the morning. You know, we got to get deeper and broader and a whole lot wider with it, too. You know what I mean? So we can cover all the aspects of living so everybody understands they're in it, too, because we're all in this together, man. You know, there isn't anybody out here this morning, not even you, Tiny, that is like out of it. We're all, you know, at the forefront of it, each and every one of us, man. We're right biting the dust, man. We're chomping the bit and biting the dust, you know. We're ready to go, man. We're pawing like crazy, you know. We want to get out there and run this race, man. Well, the race is already run. Now we're actually headed for the winner's circle, you know. Some of us think the race has already begun, etc., you know. Yeah, sure it has. It's gone by, you know. Some people missed it. They were so caught up in all the little aspects of creating it that they didn't really see it happen, you know. Went right by them. Boom, 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 boom. And the Lone Ranger and Tonto both won, man. It was a photo finish. In other words, babies, the real characters in this life finally showed up and won the race, and wow, we can all be grateful for that, can't we? And you'll figure out who that is as time goes on and what it's all about. But let me tell you, it's been pretty damn spectacular, you know, and I'm sorry if you were up in the grandstands and couldn't see it very well and didn't even realize the race was already run and won. Well, you know, there's video. All you gotta do is hit replay, baby. Then you'll start to remember what's really happening here, and you'll see that race in its entirety, and you'll just be as thrilled and tickled as all, because you know what really happens? Is each and every one of us steps up to the line, or actually runs up to the line, man. We're all going 80 billion miles an hour by then, because there ain't no time anymore. And we just step across uniformly, and they take a photo finish of it, and there is not a hair's difference between anybody's step. Everybody's big toe is right there together, stepping over the line. Everybody has it. Talk about a nose-to-nose finish, man. This is it, babies. We're right there together. But you know why? It's not because we created great synchronicity. It's because we are in synchronicity, because we are human and all gathered in a singular form of consciousness I call the heart. The great heart and all. The great spirit living in that heart. You understand? That's what we're all about, babies. That's where, the rubber hits the road. It all comes down to a reality. Something truthful that you can live in. An aspect of divine harmony, that you are. And just be it. You don't have to even, give homage to anything or anybody. Thank God for that. That stuff gets tiresome real quick. Pay homage to your heart, baby. Pay homage to what's inside of you, making you human, making you feel alive. Letting you finally come back inside and start to feel the power of the heart arising in you. This love that you feel, first for yourself, is very real. And babies, as it starts to extend from you, which it inevitably does, it touches the heart of others. And babies, you're going to experience connections far more profound than what I'm talking about now. Even though we're heart to heart and soul to soul, it's like being belly to belly in a way, but not in any obscenity at all. In the closeness of reality, the truth of oneness, that kind of thing, Wow, even though we're that close, it's just an indication of what's really here. We're just starting to wake up to it, babies. Now imagine how refined it's going to get, and how gracious each and every one of us can really be. And are moving into. Some of the harshest beings are going to be some of the most gracious. I'm sitting here seeing old school teachers and shit. I seen some of those on a Facebook page this morning. Somebody posted pictures of some of my old high school teachers. I didn't recognize any of them. They're all white-haired and gone, most of them are dead, but somebody had a picture of them, like, wow. Where did that come from, man? But just let them go. Be done with them. Flow on. I appreciate now what I couldn't appreciate then, which is, at least they held some kind of reality for me, even though it was a superficial one and artificially implanted in them, and therefore they were frustrated and carried that frustration to you as they attempted to artificially implant the same behaviors and thoughts and formats into you, man. It's like, wow. And they didn't realize they were doing it, It's like the dumb leading the dumb. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Back then. But we're coming out of it now but just because of that. Just because we were the type, all of us that, are conscious somewhat of the heart, we were the type that could never be spoon-fed that crap. We could never follow the line. We hated the bells and the whistles and the, you got to do this, you got to be that, you got to wear this fashion, that fashion. Hell with you, babies. We can wear whatever we damn feel like. We feel like smoking, during the middle of school. Well, guess what? We're going to step outside and have a smoke somewhere. You may not see us, but et cetera, et cetera. It's just like, I just couldn't live that way, and I know, made me a bit of a punk in that time, because that was the only way you could resist. Oh, man, the struggles we get involved in this life. And babies, they get greatly exaggerated from there. Are we covering some territory this morning or what? But they get greatly exaggerated from there, man, and just go, wow, hog wild, It's just craziness, and somehow you manage to survive it and get through it, and you learn and grow from it, and you start to appreciate the old bumblebutts for what they did share with you, for what was a mighty good aspect of life, and, a good start in life, really, even though you were kind of absorbed in your rebellion. There was also, a certain respectfulness that you learned from them old timers, even though they were grossly programmed by their peers, their superiors, etc. There was just a side of them that was really decent, that really wanted to do right, and that's why they were all stuck in the rules in the first place, because they thought that was the way to be it, Can't be blamed for that. Makes you kind of robotic, makes you kind of numb inside, but at the same time, it's alive. And, if you're just basically trying to be what you pretend to be, even though it's impossible, but if you're just aspiring to that, if your intentions are in a good space, babies, your whole life's lived in love, and you're nothing but beneficial to folks anyway, no matter how zombieized you might be. That's the reality we live in. You can't make judgments based on what you see people doing and being, and especially yourself. Because babies, even though you're from the poor side of town and lived on the wrong side of the tracks forever, but finally found the way out, etc., etc., there's no judgment. Just release yourself from that. Don't be hard on yourself. Appreciate what you have. Appreciate what you've had. Whatever it was, there was sweetness in it. And there were enough sweet moments to keep you going, or you would not be alive and communicating with us here on the Coyote Medicine Show this morning, now would you? You'd be long gone. There'd be no life for you. If there wasn't love here and there, if there wasn't light here and there to keep you going, babies, it's over. You know that. Everybody knows that. There's only, you've got to have the inspiration to keep you going. You got to have some moments in life that are just precious. You don't get that, well, it's no wonder you die young, huh? Well, what are you living for if you can't live, if you can't feel it, if you can't be it, Well, you're living because you can't. Maybe you've never experienced that. It's okay. You're living to be it now, babies. You're going to learn what it is to feel, what it is to know real feeling, truth. I know a lot of us doubt our most passionate feelings because they don't seem to have a basis in reality. Some nagging little thing we got going on under the surface. This ain't real, kid. This ain't real. What are you doing here? A lot of us live in that, And then we got to take a look at that. What are we doing there? What's unreal about it? Instead of letting it just nag at you and pushing ahead, stop, slow down, back up, take a look. What was it we left there alongside the road that we long since forgot? Is it something we really need to take with us? Maybe we made a mistake or something, huh? Who knows? But let's just go there and take a look, Maybe our connections have been less than substantial because we haven't been quite in the right space because we didn't pay attention to what was nagging at us. Doesn't mean you validate it, just means you go take a look and see why there might be something there. What's holding you back a little bit? What is making this unrefined? Is there a lack of love here? What's going on, And then you begin to find truth. You begin to open up, because you question what's going on inside. You take a look. You don't ignore it and push ahead. See, we're taught to do that, trained to do that. From the put your feelings away and get with it, go for it, Well, babies, the real way is exactly opposite of that. Embrace your feelings. Find out what they really are, and then move according to that. See, that's how you missed the horse race, because you're so busy trying to be something you already are. You got totally distracted, didn't even see the race going on. Big money being played there, and you can benefit from it. Definitely can, baby. When you go back into replay, wow. What will you do there? Will you receive the reward? Come join us in the winner's circle? Well, of course. Babies, it's just good to be alive and living in a beautiful day like this. And you'll forgive me for rambling on, man. We've been going around some territory and some turf this morning, but your hearts are just bringing to you what you want to hear, what you need to receive, what you need to feel right now. See, as this little, tiny little oracle, boy, I was a skinny little shit. Don't get carried away by what you see on the video. My face and all that looks pretty good on the camera, I guess. But, man, the rest of me is like, doesn't even hardly cast a shadow, you know. So just know that I'm a lightweight, not a heavyweight, you know. Oh, Grandpa having a little fun making fun of his own self, you know, as he feels the sun rise inside, man, and the warming of my heart coming back. Boy, I hope you feel it in yours too, babies. And whatever's nagging at us this morning, let's get with it. Let's go take a look at it here as we take a little flight with old Elton, man. This guy's been chomping up and down in the green room, just wanting to express the exuberance of this beautiful piece of divine harmony he's come up with here. So maybe we better let him do that here, and we'll get back to rolling with the flow here in just a little bit. Yeah. Oh, hell no, I'm not moving to L.A. Geez whiz, no way. Some people tried to get me to go down there and open a coffee shop. Oh, back about 10 years ago or something like that. And, you know, I was real impressed that they would even offer me such a thing, you know. But, of course, I had to tell them that the only way you'd get me to live in L.A., you know, full-time like that, you know, and run a little shop like that would be if I had a helicopter to fly me in and out. I'd live way up in the desert, up in the mountains somewhere, and just come in the morning and fly out at night, miss all that traffic, and et cetera, et cetera. And that'd be doable most of the time there. They do have their times of bad weather. I hear they're getting clobbered with some rain down there now. But no, I'm just going down there for a little visit. I haven't been down there for a few years now, so it's time to go back and touch bases with the energy there, as well as, you know, the rest of this country where I've been and where I want to go again. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, there's places in the world calling us too, and we'll just see how things flow. But I know I'm just doing a little moving around this year. You know, I've been stationary here in Crestone for almost 2 years now, which is really unusual for me. I mean, I've moved around a little bit, nothing like what I usually do. But babies, you know, it's just time to get out and touch bases with your hearts in a little more direct way. That's another reason I'm shipping out these little coffee mugs, you know. We can all get together for a real coffee clutch when I come down to L.A. to visit that territory. Well, hell, come on over. I'll let you know where I'll be, and come on over. Let's all have a cup of coffee together in our little mugs, and we'll get mugged together, man. Won't that be fun? You know, so I plan on doing a little of that as this time goes by. We'll just see how it goes. You know, I'm a seasoned veteran of the traveling world, but I'm also, like, you know, pretty homed in up here, and there's a lot going on too, so I have to kind of get that balance, you know. Got to keep it right. Keep the flow in the glow, and in the divine harmony is where you go, because then you don't even need to balance. You just fit in. It all fits in. See, that's what I'm looking for, you know, where it all fits together. And I just go with the flow, man. So if an opportunity, say, to go to L.A. comes my way, well, shoot, yeah, I'll take it, you know, and go down there and hobnob with the energy for a bit and the people a bit, and then I just come on home and, you know, back here in the old mountainside and hide out. Stay away from those cities. Nah, we love them, man, especially L.A. It's a crazy place, yeah, and it's fast and furious, and, you know, it's just not any place I'd really want to live. It's just too much of everything there, but yet I just love the open feeling of the people's hearts there, you know, their willingness to adventure and explore, you know, even though it's, wow, pretty constricted there now, and it's like living in a war zone in a lot of ways, but, you know, that's kind of under the surface still. Every place has its problems. Our cities are filled with yuck behavior because you just can't pack people together like that and expect things to be reasonable, at least not in the past. You know, but now perhaps we can change these things. Perhaps that's why I may be going there. Perhaps that's what we're doing here right now on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. Perhaps we're changing it all, baby, because we're allowing ourselves to feel for what's real. And, you know, we don't question or doubt our reality. You know, what's really showing itself to us, we're willing to see anything and live it, if that's what it be from the heart. Wow, babies, that's quite a leap, you know, for most of us. Because most of us just so constricted we couldn't even conceive of such a thing. Yet here it is, and we're doing it. Wow. Isn't life grand? Isn't it fun when in the heart you stand? Everything else just flows like sand. You know, it's easy. It's simple. We're there, babies. Already. Just got to realize it. Give yourself a little hug this morning after you sip on your little mug. And babies, Elton, it's your turn. I know. Come on, bud. Don't bug me. Here you go. Okay, a 1 and a 2 and a... And that's perfect for a 6 o'clock song. What if just some of these songs didn't record right? Babies, oh yeah, darlings, and ho, 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 and away we go, right here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. Oh my goodness. Talk about an experience in unity and flight, babies. What we just experienced was just really right here in this moment, right here in this time, still is quite divine, as our hearts united begin to experience that which we came for. Yes, indeed, baby. Our genuine service to this heart in all of these generations, in all of these ages and eons of time, finally, blossom into the grand reward of the people, the persons, the divine angels in human form that we truthfully are, baby. Yeah, this feeling can't help but grow and grow and grow, even after you've long since forgot about this medicine show right here on this radio, and you've gone on your way. And in the new fields do you play? Yes, indeedy. But here in this heart you will always stay united. Our feelings are one now. Our lives then are simple and complete, as we're satisfied in every moment. And babies, from the point of fullness, we share the greatest love there ever was with any who encounter us. Because we are the living vessels of that love and light, the reality of the hearts that did, in fact, unite, even though in our soul we knew it was just rock and roll on this old medicine show. Just a little music and a little mundane talk. Just a little rap to go with all the rock. Oh yeah, a little cashmere, a little divine mystery here unraveled as it exposes the true reality of how we are united, how we operate in the heart continually. And babies, this presence cannot help but grow in consciousness, in experience. It expands. That's the orgasmic way, you see. It starts slow and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, until it sweetly and softly releases itself like a tidal wave of love 29 miles tall. Imagine that. Imagine the wreckage that a water wave of such enormous proportions could create in this world. Everything changed in a heartbeat. Everything devastated. But from that new life, new form, new beauties, new wonders arising as the waters recede and the new life exposes itself in the nakedness of the new earth from which all life does arise. Now you begin to understand nakedness and our tendency toward that. It's the representation of the new start, the new growth, the new experience of the new earth, the reconnection with the eternal, the new growth in full consciousness, rising forward from the nakedness of this sweet earth, swept clean of all the old by this tidal wave of love, which we create in the here and now. and rise up and flow it all across the directions of this earth. Out in 360 degrees it radiates. Yes, indeed. Touching the heart of all, uniting each in oneness, in the orgasmic joy of this oneness. The feeling of heart that does unite everyone. From this humble beginning, such a tidal wave doth begin. Such dramatic and powerful change as we've never seen, not in a billion years, babies. This is the life you've been waiting for. This is the manifestation of your love, creating itself in a reality that you live in and experience. Yeah, the fullness of the moment of now. Yeah, the reality of living in creative love. It cannot be experienced or expressed any other way, only through the paths of darkness and the unique stretches of light that come about as extreme reaction to that darkness. Can we find our way back to the reality of the loving, living, expressing organic heart that arises up and experiences itself in all life? That orgasmic joy spreading, and that contented, soft, tidal wave of love 29 miles tall. Picture that. Sweeping over the earth, and what it leaves behind it. What arises from the nakedness it leaves behind as the waters recede. The arousal of the greatest love ever known, the greatest life ever experienced, the unity of oneness in all life living, a happy and formative existence where life can make itself full and complete in the deepest and most joyous of feeling. Wow! Wow! I'm like a little kid in a candy store, babies. I'm just feeling so all over with this love. So in love with this love. So in love with this life inside of myself that it could actually reach out and experience. And it didn't have to reach. It just had to be. It just had to show itself. And then others have confidence enough to show themselves. And then we unite. Because in showing ourselves, we are uniting, because we're revealing the truth of the oneness of our love, man. All of it. Yeah. Oh, divine revelation indeed, baby. Oh, the white buffalo arising. Oh, we always speak in metaphors, and we wonder why. But the reason being, because life is a metaphor itself. It's always suggesting to us, always showing us the truth of what we're doing in a metaphorical sense. Oh, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. And now we become the living metaphor, conscious of that wryness in life, of that beautiful wonder that is the metaphoric way, which leads to the meteoric rise of humanity, the fullness of heart in the united way. Can you imagine 10 billion souls united in a singularity of consciousness like this, a feeling like this? It can only grow. It's shared with everyone, wherever we go now. And we will do a little traveling, because this feeling needs to get out there, baby. Now, just be ready for anything. You know how to follow the flow. You've been doing it for a while now. Isn't it beautiful? Sometimes you're afraid to let go what's known in order to step in what's really known but hasn't been experienced yet. Yeah, that's the anxiety. But now you know what it is. You step right by it. I hate to zep you to death, but I got to do one more, We haven't done it. We haven't had our share of Zep for a day or two now, so we got to do one more. Besides that, the time on this one is 5:55. What does that suggest to you? In numeric sense, I know 444 is the gateway. That's the angelic gateways. 5:55 then must be the 5D dimension then, huh? We're way beyond that one, baby. If it was only 5D, we'd never get free. It's only in 7 you start to find heaven, and then it grows from there. Babies, we're just learning to fly. We really are. So you're going to have to wait just a little bit for Zep, because, Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks, man, I can't say no to them, and they insist. They've been waiting in the green room long enough. It's their turn. So here we go with another in-flight miracle right here on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote on the morning edition of the Coyote Medicine Show. By the way, we're getting mugged right now, babies. Salute. I got my official Coyote coffee mug, and I am saluting you right now. Clink, clink, babies. I love you guys so much. Isn't it wonderful to know that life really is rock and roll? I love it, babies. It's a great experience to be sharing with you. Yee-haw.